A Spider-Man 2 set in 2025? Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Hello everybody, the Brickologist back here again with another LEGO Marvel Superheroes set review, my first August 1st, 2025 Marvel set review. This is set number 76321, Spider-Man vs. Doc Ock subway train scene from Spider-Man 2, and my goodness, that Raimi Tobey Maguire Spider-Man artwork in the corner there is giving me so much nostalgia. This set retails for about $55 US. I found mine early at a local Target. It has 393 pieces, and here is a front look at the rest of the box. The back of the box showcases some of the play features found within this set. This set includes one instruction manual with 65 pages of building, and there are no advertisements for other sets inside this booklet. Nearly 400 pieces later, the set is now complete. You basically just get the one build with some small accessories off to the side, and I'll explain how all of that works throughout the review, plus the 4 spectacular minifigures. Let's look at those characters here first. Let's start off by looking at both Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson at the exact same time. I'm sorting these figures together because neither of these characters should actually come with this set, because neither of these characters are in this scene in particular. That being said, I'm not mad that LEGO included them here because they both look good and they're both iconic players within the film, especially J. Jonah Jameson, and I love the face print and the brown recolor of the Zane hairpiece there from Ninjago. That is really effective. They look good front and back. Good figures to get, although kind of odd they're included here. More accurate to the scene, of course, is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I fully expected LEGO to just reuse the minifigure they made for the No Way Home Final Battle set a couple of years ago, but nope, LEGO did not cheap out on us. They gave us a brand new torso print with the scene accurate rips, and they gave us a brand new Tobey Maguire Peter Parker face with a scene accurate meme expression there, and that looks absolutely spectacular. He has a great double-sided face, and he also includes an additional headpiece with his mask, which is printed front and back, and the back printing of this figure is great as well. I also love the dual molded legs. This is pretty much a perfect Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figure. Last and certainly not least, we have the film's main villain. Doc Ock, played wonderfully by Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2, and like the Spider-Man figure, I fully expected LEGO to just reprint the figure from the No Way Home set in 2023, but instead of reprinting it, they revamped it entirely. Besides the face print, everything else has been changed, and for the better. The BTS hairpiece was a great choice, and the torso print and the leg print there with the brown trench coat looks brilliant. I absolutely love that. But probably the best part of this figure are the octopus tentacles themselves. They have designed them here so well using that shuriken piece from Ninjago, and it looks awesome, and they have so much articulation. The accurate details are great, and he's able to stand on them by himself. They support the weight of the figure without tipping over, which is really well done. I love the tentacle design in this set. He also does have back printing and a good double-sided face underneath all of that. This might be the greatest Doc Ock figure LEGO has ever created. With the minifigures out of the way, let's focus on the main build of the set itself. This is a subway car, and admittedly, like this, it looks fairly boring because it's a giant gray rectangle. However, that is accurate to the scene, and I think LEGO jam-packed a lot of good detail into this build. It's also important to note it's pretty much mirrored on the other side, so everything you see up front is the same for the back as well. I do like the sticker here with the Bay Ridge logo. That looks very nice. I'll explain what these studs do in a minute. These lights are accurate. This indentation is pretty accurate. And from this side, you can see some broken glass on a clear sticker, which works pretty well. Now this logo is not super accurate to the film. I'm guessing LEGO didn't want to pay the New York Metro system any licensing fees to get their official logos, and I don't blame them for that. The rest of the subway car wall here is pretty flat, lots of big windows. Now these pieces aren't the best to look at, but they are for attaching extra accessories. And if you don't want to look at them, it's not hard to modify and flip them the other direction, and it'll just be a normal gray brick. Now, no train track pieces were included included with this set, but it does have compatible wheel parts down here, which look pretty good, and I like the smoothness of this design. And there's actually an interesting thing LEGO did here, giving us a couple of different options on how to actually build this. As you can see in the manual here, you either can add this 2x4 tan plate or these turntable pieces. Now, depending on which one you use, you'll either have the wheel elements be stagnant or have them with the ability to turn, and I'm guessing this is so people can incorporate this subway car into their LEGO city and into their train track setups, and I think that was a really generous thing of LEGO to include. I don't currently have any train track with me, so I'm going to display this with the tan pieces instead, but here are the extra swivel parts, which are nice for LEGO to include as well. Now, to access the interior of the subway car, it's fairly simple. Basically right here, just lift up these pieces, and there are two individual panels that can lift off to reveal a somewhat interior. Look, y'all, New York subways are not the most exciting thing in the world. There wasn't a ton LEGO could do. The interior here basically just has a couple of rows of seats in blue, and then there's a cool sticker control panel piece at the end. I had to rip off some of the pieces at the front so you could see said sticker. It was way too dark without that, but this is a really nice decal that is extremely accurate to the scene from the movie. I like that quite a bit, and once again, it is mirrored on the other side. Moving on from the interior, you might have noticed these random tan pieces atop the subway's roof. You're probably like, what the heck are those? Now, those are actually parts of rubble from the building Peter Parker is attempting to attach webs to stop the runaway train car. This is a handful of all the web and rubble pieces LEGO includes. In addition to those, you can attach to this subway car to recreate the scene. But more importantly, the aforementioned indentation at the front is where you put your Peter Parker minifigure so you can hold on to said webs. Unfortunately, given the limitations of LEGO minifigure's articulation, you can't move the shoulders out to get the quote-unquote Jesus pose that Peter Parker is in during this sequence. That's not really a flaw with this set. I don't expect LEGO to just change the articulation of minifigures for one scene, but it is worth noting. And here is what that looks like. You can rearrange these in any direction you want, given all of the accessories included in the various holes throughout this set. And I gotta say, I think this looks very effective. I like these web pieces. I like the illusion of the rubble being ripped off the buildings. Obviously, in the film, Peter Parker is attaching said webs to buildings in New York City. LEGO did not include the New York City skyline as part of this set. That would have made this a much bigger product, but given the limitations of this scale for this product, I think LEGO did a really good job, and it makes for a very effective display piece. And there's plenty of space to display your Doc Ock minifigure on top of the roof of the subway car here. However, by the time Peter Parker is trying to stop the train, Doc Ock has already exited the sequence. Bringing everything together, it's time to wrap up my thoughts on this set. Look, y'all, I love Spider-Man 2. I think it's probably the best live-action Spider-Man movie ever made, and probably also a top 10 best superhero/comic book movie of all time. I've loved that film ever since it came out 21 years ago, and LEGO producing a new set from said film is a dream come true. I was predisposed to loving this set, and I think they delivered this iconic sequence extremely well in LEGO form. The figures are fabulous, the build looks really good, it has good play value for the kids, but good display value for the adults. This is a fabulous LEGO set. Unfortunately, it's definitely a bit overpriced. The price per piece is bad. There's not really any way around that. However, there are some large pieces incorporated with this train car. Additionally, when I compare it to a $55 Star Wars set, like this Force Burner Snowspeeder, you can see it's definitely bigger than something from a different LEGO license theme. So that is favorable for this set. However, at the end of the day, I still think it's probably about $5 to $8 more than it should be. Not the worst price in the world, but it's not great either. Beyond that, I think the flaws with this set are mostly really small little nitpicks, and honestly, I'm pretty forgiven with them because the scale of this set is not super huge, and I think given this price range, LEGO did pretty much everything they could to make this a really fantastic Spider-Man 2 set. I love this thing, y'all. It's one of the best Marvel sets of the year. It's getting a glowing rating of a 9 out of 10 from me. Sure, I might be biased, but I love this thing. What are your thoughts on this set though? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching today's review. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.